Hello, I hope you're well. Welcome to Konatus Games, where I strive to survive. Today I'm going to play The Long Dark. This is one of my favorite games. I've been playing it for a while, and I think I'm pretty okay at it. So today I'm going to start a new game, and I'm going to play on the Interloper difficulty. Until recently, this was the most difficult difficulty, but Misery was introduced. I'm sure many of you who are watching Long Dark content know about this. This setting is pretty punishing. And today, I kind of want to have a little more fun than that. So, I'm going to be playing Interloper. Now, I'll choose Astrid. Male character is Will, female character is Astrid. Doesn't really make any difference. And you get to select a few feats. I don't have all the feats in the game, but I have a bunch of them. Usually, I select Cold Fusion. This gives you a permanent buff to your warmth. So this game is a game about surviving in a frigid environment on an island called Great Bear, fictional island, in Canada after an apocalyptic event. So you have to manage temperature and food, water, things like this. So Cold Fusion, very useful on Interloper. I can talk about that a little bit more if anyone is interested. And then I usually go with either Efficient Machine to consume fewer calories, makes it easier to survive on less food, or one of these two. I like to run, but I think I'm going to go with... Well, eventually Efficient Machine isn't that useful, so I think I'm going to go with this one, Snowwalker. Stamina bar recharges 20% faster. This was a recent addition to the game, Scurvy. We're going to leave that on. And I will call this... I should call it number 1. Except now, the beginning of this game is the most difficult part, in my opinion, especially on Interloper. Extraordinary people survive under the most terrible circumstances, and they become more extraordinary because of it. Robertson Davies. Okay, so let's see, where am I? I'm in Timberwolf Mountain. That's not bad, so I'm not too used to this spawn, so I don't know exactly where I am. But Timberwolf Mountain isn't a terrible place to start. I'm going to collect some sticks as I find my way. These will let me fuel some fire later on. Now it is almost nighttime, so even though it's not very cold now, it's going to get pretty cold pretty soon. So let's see if I can get a little advantage on where I am. My map knowledge is not the best. It's okay. Oh, okay. Alright. I think I know where I am. Is there a river down here? There is. Okay. Now, I've never goated, so you can climb that. And you know what? I may as well. I weigh very little. It's safe. It's fine. I've never goated this route down. So goating is when you just sort of climb down the side of the mountain rather than taking a rope. So there's a bear up there. Have to avoid him. Pick up some stones. So these stones are basically my only line of defense right now. but they won't defend me against a bear. They're not very good for defense, but early game they're kind of the best you have. You can use them to kill rabbits, but you can also use them to scare off wolves. You have to do that in a very specific way. So if you aim at a wolf, like this, then it'll charge you. But if you don't aim and you just throw it, and you hit them, it can scare them off. So I'm going sort of around here to try to avoid that bear. I don't want to tangle with him. That would be a big problem. I don't know exactly where he is. If he's behind this rock, then I'm in trouble. But I don't think he is. I think he's a little bit... Okay, well, it's right there, actually. You know what? That's getting pretty close. I'm going to go around this way to go a little bit. So, a minute ago I picked up cattails, right? So cattails are a source of food and tinder that makes the early game especially much easier. They're relatively lightweight and can be reliably found in a lot of areas, usually along rivers. So if you pick up a few of those, you can be okay for a little while. I still am trying to steer clear of this bear, so that's why I'm taking this sort of long way around. I think it's okay here. What I'm trying to do is get to the Mountaineer's hut, it's called. So that's one of the very few structures in this zone. Which again, this is Timberwolf Mountain. Yeah, I went a little out of my way to do this, but that's okay. Now, for anyone who, has never played this game before, it'd be shocking to me if you managed to find this channel while having never played this game before. But that'd be great. Welcome. But if you've never played this game before, I'm going to try to explain sort of everything I'm doing, more or less, and why I'm doing it. So, one reason I'm doing that is because it gives me something to talk about while I do this. It's part of the fun. But also, when I got into this game, when I got more into this game, because I played it for a long time, but I didn't get very okay at it until relatively recently. Actually, I don't know where I am now. But anyway, I learned a lot from YouTube videos. Especially a YouTuber called Zachnathan. I think it's Zachnathan. It might be Zachnafine. I'm not entirely sure. And his videos were always very, very informative. So I'm going to be doing my own thing here, but I think that one of the valuable parts about his videos was that he explained what he was doing. And so usually I would know most of it, or at least eventually. I'm going to take these feathers. They can be used to make arrows later on. I'm not going to deal with this corpse quite yet. Okay, so now I'm going to goat down here. So earlier I mentioned goating. There's the Mountaineer's hut. So there's no rope here. I'm just going to be a little bit careful and climb down here. You may have noticed I just crouched. Crouching lets you be a little bit safer while you're goating. I gotta be careful down here because there can be a lot of wolves. I only have 2 stones. So anyway, point being, yeah, there's a wolf right there. I found that type of content really helpful. And so I'm interested in sort of explaining what I'm doing to help anyone who might be in a similar position. Now, here's the thing. Oh, I hear ptarmigan. That's a small bird. You can kill it with a rock. Arrows are better, but you can't kill it with a rock. Here's the thing. That cabin, right over there, just past that rock, right over there, might seem like salvation from this weather, but it really isn't. Early on in Interloper, it is very unlikely that it'll actually be warm inside that cabin. So I'll need to find matches. I actually heard that there's guaranteed matches here, but I usually don't come to Timberwolf Mountain very early. So if there are guaranteed matches, I don't really notice. Usually I come here when I've already gotten matches and other things. It's a mountaineering rope. Let's bring this inside. Oh, I actually am warm. So that's probably... Oh, it's not. I thought maybe it was because of cold fusion. But it actually feels like, down here, bottom left, 4 degrees. So I'm actually quite warm. Alright. Okay, so put this rock away. I won't need it. Close that door for a second. It doesn't actually make a difference if you close it or not. And let me read this climber's journal page. Arrived at the base of Timberwolf Mountain. Looks like there are some nice cracks, just like Clive said. Oh, so they're going climbing. I'm a climber myself. Going to set up a top rope and do some bouldering. Okay. Going to set up a top rope and do some bouldering until the others show up, hopefully soon. Cool. Wondering if my... Oh, so they're setting up top rope in anticipation for their friends. They're going to boulder by themselves alone out in this place until their friends come up. Not a great idea. Hopefully soon. September 6th, next day. Wondering if my friends got lost as they still haven't arrived. Woke up in the night to a deafening noise, fire on the mountain. Went to check it out. The weather got nasty and I couldn't find my way. Coincidentally, the weather actually is quite nasty for me as well. September 7th, clear day, went out again, found some metal cargo crates. They look like they might be moving the plane. There's still smoke from the summit. I'm heading out to see the peak. So there's a lot of doing up there, actually. So we'll take that. I spoke too soon about the temperature, right? Now that there's a blizzard, it's -6. So I really do need those guaranteed matches, or else I'm in real trouble. Or not guaranteed, as I said. I don't actually know. Okay, so we do have some matches. And we'll read that in a minute. Let's start some fire. This is great. I have plenty of firewood. Right. Look at the rest of the place. So let's get fire. Sticks. Oh, I don't have tinder. Oh. Okay. I know what I did. Sometimes, that's okay, it's okay. Sometimes I take fire starter as a perk, and then you don't need tinder, it's optional. So, what I do is when I get cattails, there's a piece of the cattail stalk that is edible, and then there's a piece that is tinder. I'll show you right here. That's the cattail head. So I was just leaving the head behind. Which is a bad habit. I used to start with fire starter. So fire starter, normally to start a fire, so matches. First you need tinder, and you need a fuel source. Fire starter lets you start fires. It lets you start the game at fire starting level 3. If you start fire starting level 3, it means that you don't need tinder, and you have a greater success chance of starting fire. So now that that's started, I can add some firewood. I'm going to add quite a bit. We have plenty, and I don't plan on staying in this room for very long. Each stick increases the heat output by a single degree. And then it stays that heat output for the entire duration of whatever it is. Doesn't produce less heat as it goes on. It just stays where it's at. I don't actually know how much heat this produces. So right now, I'm pretty warm. So those two little icons. Mix them up. So now you can see. Okay. So let's see what we have. We have fishing hook. Ah. Newspaper command center. This is a great item. That's a magnifying lens. When it's sunny out, it can be used to start a fire. That's a pretty bad down vest, but I will take it. It saved my life. Okay. Not that much loot here. Probably missing something. Might break apart those crates. Stay the night here. Oh, okay. That's a good find. Scarf. That'll help protect me from frostbite. Well, frostbite shouldn't be too much of a problem. What happens when your hands or head or skin, usually hands or head, are exposed to the elements which are fine. Scrolled message. Corpse with computer found. These coordinates. Can't be a local. Pity. Okay. So that's telling me that there's some treasure there, or maybe that's nice of the area. Let me make some water. So always start with the key. Just let the water. Fire going for a bit, probably through the night, honestly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here. You know what? First, while I'm warm, let me tear this apart. We have 3 hours, 14 minutes until melted, probably about. Okay, 15 minutes. So when you can, it's good to multitask. So right now, I'm making water, I'm warming up, and I'm gathering fire. Okay, another 16 minutes. Go out here. And I'm gonna get cold quick. That's okay. Have a minute where I can gather some sticks, some more wood. Probably don't actually need to. Firewood there, but I'd rather conserve that firewood if at all possible. It's a little bit silly to say, oh, I'm going to conserve firewood when I need to have the fire die. But Timberwolf Mountain is actually a really great region for a lot of reasons, but it's not great light because there's not very much clothing. You know what, actually, what I could do okay, so I have a decision. So I'm in this region up here, Timberwolf Mountain. Now, I was thinking of going to Pleasant Valley, because in Pleasant Valley there is a plane crash. There's a plane crash in Timberwolf Mountain too, actually. But there's a plane crash, which was a passenger plane. And there can be very good clothing items at that plane crash. That's worth going to early on. There are a lot of other great resources in Pleasant Valley. It's a great main base. So I was considering going there. However, Ash Canyon up here, it's a little bit out of the way. Right, once I go to Pleasant Valley, that's really my entrance to the rest of the map. It all goes through Pleasant Valley. Ash Canyon's a bit out of the way, but it has the technical backpack, and that gives you an item carry weight bonus, so it'll increase my carry weight, max carry weight, from 30 kilograms to 35. That's very important. So, something I could do is I could try to get that right now. You know what? That sounds fun. And it would really take advantage of the spawn, too. You can always go to Pleasant Valley later. So, if I go to Ash Canyon, I can get that backpack, or I might die trying. I think a lot of it depends on how the weather is in the morning, or maybe the afternoon. Because if it's really bad, then I think it's probably safer to head down to Pleasant Valley. The thing is with Ash Canyon, see, I've already lost a little bit of health. That was because I was cold. When any of those bars at the bottom left are empty, you will progressively lose health. So since I was cold, I was already losing some health. If I go to Ash Canyon, I'm going to be cold most of the way. But I could get some more matches on the way. I have a pretty good idea of how to go about that. So I think I am going to do that. So let's see what else I can be doing right now while waiting out this terrible weather. That's a bit unsafe to consume until I have antibiotics. Consuming poor quality. That's okay. Let me just eat that right now. I'm going to go for what's called well-fed. If you stay out of starvation, so you keep that hunger bar at the bottom left, it's rightmost one. If you keep that non-zero for a few days, you get another item carry bonus. So that brings you from 30 to 35, or with the backpack, you can go to 40. And then there's another item called Moose Satchel, which you can craft, and that'll bring you to 35. So, I'm not sure how much there really is for me to do. A little grapple glitch, did you see that? It didn't give me any of that information anyway, it's alright. There's not much I can actually do here until this storm is over, because like, with fresh spawn, I don't really have anything. That. Weather's easing up a little bit. Here 2 hours. Alright. There's a little water. Let's see if I can see a little bit more. I want to check these boats. Lower difficulties, there can be hunting knives or hatchets and stuff in these posts on the dock. Even in this difficulty, sometimes they're stuck in these boats. You know what? Normally during blizzards, while it left out, unless you were very close to it when it started. Now, I was close to those wolves when it started. I wonder if this torch is going to blow out. Sure did. That's okay. Torch can protect you from predators. Wolves won't approach you when you have a torch up. More or less. It's a little bit of an oversimplification. But by and large, torch will protect you from wolves. So this is a great place. There's a fishing hut right here. Fishing is a great way to avoid scurvies. There's a wolf over there. There's a few wolves over there, so we gotta be careful. And rabbits spawn right over there. So those can be a source of food. I can't see anything. That must have been somebody's lucky stone. Okay, cloth. That's actually really good right now, because maybe I can make some gloves. Right now, my hands are unprotected. I'm not going to make gloves here, but I just want to see what you need to make gloves. 4 cloth. That's actually quite expensive. Okay, I can't really see anything here. I can read this. Have to make the canyon before dark. The howling went all night. Yeah, tell me about it. Okay. So I guess they were heading to Ash Canyon. I'll have to come back here when I can see a bit better. There's a bear right over there. But I want to grab... I don't have to grab those. I was going to say I want to grab these cattails, but I'm heading to Ash Canyon. That's right in my map. That's fine. Now I mentioned a plane crash in Timberwolf Mountain and Pleasant Valley. Now that plane crash here in Timberwolf Mountain is, I guess it's a cargo plane. So just give it one more look over. Always good to give it a look over with a light source. So it's a cargo plane, and there are a bunch of cargo containers. If you have a hacksaw, which is a very important item in an Interloper, you can open those containers. A hacksaw can spawn... I'm just going to enjoy it. Get a nice cozy sleep over, so I can actually get onto these beds. That does pretty good. The hacksaw can spawn at the plane crash. So if you don't have a hacksaw, that can be really great. But if you don't have a hacksaw, going to that plane crash is a bit of a risk, because the hacksaw is not guaranteed to be at the plane crash. 1 second. So, hopefully I'll find a hacksaw in Ash Canyon. Then that will let me come back from Ash Canyon to the plane crash. Basically how this works, you can't really see it here, but Timberwolf Mountain, I'm here. To get to Ash Canyon, I'll basically go this way. Right down here. That'll go through Ash Canyon, through a little place called Angler's Den, and then I'll climb some mountains. I'll go to what's called the Gold Mine. That's where you have the backpack. Sounds like the wind is letting up. From there... Oh, can you hear that? That's the water boiling. Love the ambiance of this this game. Anyway, then you come back through Ash Canyon and you climb up another mountain in Timberwolf Mountain. You go to the plane crash, and then you can come back down here and then head into Pleasant Valley. So that's the idea. That's the plan. Not quite boiled yet. I am going to add more wood to this because it's still night. I bet it's cold. So I'm going to add... I'll add some sticks. That's a renewable source of fuel. Sticks spawn after heavy wind. I am going to need to sleep tonight. But I'm going to just try to get a little bit more fuel. I think this torch will be okay now with the wind. Yeah, I'm much safer now. And then I'll need to sleep, so I'll need to be strong for this journey. I want to be well rested. Let me see something here. Okay. So, often, it's usually only if I start in Ash Canyon. I think you can start in Ash Canyon. Often when I go for the technical backpack, or tactical backpack, I don't remember which, often I die. That journey kills me. That's what happens. So, I'm actually feeling pretty confident right now, specifically because of those matches. I have some wood, I'm going to grab a bunch of torches, and if the weather's okay, I might be able to chain torches. I'll show you what I mean. And that could keep me relatively safe. So the wolf howls show you that wolves are nearby, and specifically it gives you a rough estimate of how many wolves there are. So sometimes you'll hear one howl, sometimes you'll hear 2 or 3. I don't think the number of wolves is equal to the number of howls. But you can get kind of an approximation, right? If you hear a few howls, you know there's too many wolves. Alright, I'm going to take the tinder, gotta remember that, and the stalks to eat. There's a bear down there, that big lump. Right down there, dead ahead. That's a bear. So there's actually 2 bears here, I guess. Which is cool, because they're in pretty close proximity to each other. Actually, here's what I'll do. I'll do it once I'm done, actually, with checking this place out. Because this torch is going to go out. Ah! That's great. I'm glad I came back. It's frozen, but it's great. That's a good find. That's a nice hat. It's not the best hat you can have, but I will take any decent clothing I can get right now. Pretty good timing. How do you like that? Alright. Some more water on. I'm going to harvest that torch. It's almost burnt out. That'll get me another stick back. It's very quick to harvest those, just a couple of minutes. It is technically an accelerated time activity. 40 degrees. That's hot. Let's see. How's my fuel looking? Oh, I got tons of fuel. I'm going to be a bit frivolous about this. And actually, I do want to get to sleep. So I think... Yeah, okay, I know what I'll do. I will sleep for 1 hour right now. That'll warm me up quite a bit. It accelerates time. And then... Oh, sounds like the water burnt off. Okay, I thought it would last a little bit longer. That's okay. I'll use it all, it's fine. Grab more sticks on the way, that's fine too. Okay. And now I'm going to, you know, it doesn't matter if this is open, but it just seems so ominous with this music and leaving that open. Eat some of these. I'll get more on the way. Ash Canyon has quite a lot of cattails. Personally, I think it's faster to go this way. Now you see my carry capacity is red. That's a penalty I'm taking because I'm tired. I'll drink this soda. It'll give me some calories and also some hydration. And I'll top off this water. And I'll sleep for, let's say, 8 hours. I don't really need the health regeneration that kicks in. You regenerate health while you sleep, and all of your meters aren't empty. Good, that was a bit of a gamble with that fire. Actually, I should have grabbed some torches. It's a bit of a mistake. That's okay. Take this much. So it's midday. It's not that cold. It's a little cold, so I'm just going to start moving. The wind is bad, though. So I'm going to run a bit. Don't mind if I burn some calories. Now, I would take those rabbits, but that's a wolf right there. And that's exactly where I want to be. So, if I took those rabbits, I would smell like rabbit. That's not what I need right now. Instead, I'll just take these... cattails. Here's a long shot. If I scare this deer, it might run towards that wolf. Nope, it'll run the other way. So, still, I could get a deer out of that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to move on. It's a little cold, so I'm not going to spend too much time collecting things. I will take these rose hips, though. These can be made into tea. And that tea warm. So I definitely want that. That wolf is really bright. It's exactly where I want to be. So I'm just going to have to... Now I have hypothermia risk. That's dangerous, but I plan on being inside pretty soon. So I'm not too worried about that. So, right down there, that's where I'm going. Although I'll check this cave first. But right down there, you can go into a little valley. And in that valley is the entrance to a cave system. You take these mushrooms. These are reishi mushrooms. They can be made into a tea. Okay, that's the bear's cave. No problem, buddy. You can have it. So those mushrooms make a tea, and And that tea can be used as, I believe, an antibiotic. And that can be very important if you get intestinal parasites. I'm going to try not to get intestinal parasites. It's not that hard to avoid. Okay, so now I have a frostbite risk. That's not good. But I should be getting into a cave really soon. And caves are generally a little bit warmer, especially transition caves. Now if it's not, because I don't have good clothing, I will have to make a fire. And that's okay. I have some matches. I don't have many, but I'm not worried about it right now. I tend to play a little fast and loose with my matches. Honestly, I just don't think they're that big of a problem. They are early on if you don't have many of them, but I'm going through a few places where I expect to find matches. I know there are some guaranteed matches in Angler's Den, which is basically my first stop once I get to Ash Canyon. That was my frostbite risk. Not great, but it can go a little while longer. There's the cave. But I do have that mag lens. I can start fires with that on sunny days. So the matches are a little bit less important for that reason. And late game, you're usually going to have a lot of matches, but you're also going to have mag lens, you're going to have flares, you're going to have fire starters. So I just don't think they're that important. I'm sure they are for other people in the way that other people play. You know, I'm not an optimal player. I like thinking about optimality, but I don't necessarily play that way. And so for me, you know, I'm much more likely to get bored of a run. Oh, I forgot, this isn't a transition cave. Okay, well. Well then. I will have to start a fire. Okay, so what you want to do when you're starting a fire is you want to light a torch. Because that will only take one match. But if you fail to start a fire on this menu, using a match as your starter, then you waste that match. So I was just saying matches aren't that big of a concern. It's not true, right? It is a concern. I'm just not going to be worried about, you know, not making a fire if I need to make a fire. Okay, so here's the plan. Warm up for a second. Hopefully this will be enough to get me warm. Looks like it will be. Drink some water. Now while I do that, I'm going to, or rather, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some more water, and while I do that, I'm going to craft. Specifically, I'm going to prepare some groceries. And I have no bandages, so I'm also going to make some bandages out of that cloth I found. 9 minutes for this to be ready. Pretty cold. You can already see that frostbite risk is going down a little bit. Actually, it looks like it's going up when I highlight it, but it is going down. So is the hyperthermic risk. Now, one issue with going to Ash Canyon is you need to find places to sleep. So Angler's Den, you can sleep there. You can sleep in the gold mine, but there's a long distance between Angler's Den and the gold mine. And if you can't find somewhere to sleep, that means you can't find somewhere to recover health. It means you're probably going to be at some penalties in terms of your carry capacity. I'm going to let that cook up. Can I make this any hotter? Did I use everything? I used everything. Okay. That's fine. I'm just going to wait for this to be done. Heat up just a little bit. I'm just going to take it. Let me get some torches. That's a good torch. They have a random amount. Well, it's not entirely random, but there's a range of condition that your torches can have. See, that one's pretty bad, but I'll take it anyway. Right now, I don't really have much, so it doesn't really matter how many of these I pick up. You know, they all weigh the same, regardless of their quality. Okay, let's go. So later in the game, when you actually, are weighed down by stuff, you don't really want to be taking a ton of bad torches. It's just going to weigh you down. It's not really going to get you a lot of heat. But right now, that's not a problem. Okay, so this is Ash Canyon. It's a burnt forest. I'm just going to try to... Oh, okay. I'm going to try to go down here. It's just a little bit of a shortcut. I don't... I know some important goats. Some goats, if you will. But, for the most part, I just look for faster ways down. If I'm going somewhere, I just see, hey, can I get there faster? I'm going to run a little bit because I don't want to suffer from hypothermia or frostbite. Frostbite is very bad. Frostbite gives you a permanent health penalty. So it permanently decreases your maximum health. That's very bad. I would say, unless you just really enjoy, playing it through, you're not dead till you're dead, that sort of thing. If you get frostbite early on, maybe you just start over. Especially if you're trying to play into the long run, it's just going to be a big penalty for you to deal with for the rest of your playthrough. Now, I believe Angler's Den is over here. I could be wrong. It could be over there by that bridge I saw. I actually kind of feel like that's the case. Oh, that's a moose. Alright. A moose will mess up your day real fast. So this is what I meant when I said chaining torches. So see, I used one match to start that fire, and I collected a bunch of torches. I'm going to go this way. This might be where Angler's Den is anyway. Sorry if it seems a little bit aimless, but that's just, this is how it is. I also haven't played it a little bit, but that's okay. I don't care. I used that one match, and I collected a bunch of torches, and now I'm able to extend the life of that match by chaining these torches, using one torch to light another. I don't think this is the way Angler's Den. I think this is a mistake on my part. But we'll see. I don't really want to go near that moose. Yeah, this is definitely a mistake on my part. But I wonder if I can get around that moose from here. Where's the wolf? Right there, right in front of me. Yeah. He's not going to come at me with this torch. Oh, interesting. I don't think I've ever actually gone through. Now, if I get too close to him, we will, but I don't think I've ever actually gone through this little passageway. Maybe this will get me to Angler's Den. That'd be nice. I kind of doubt it. This is Old Man's Beard Lichen. It can be used to make an antiseptic, which is important for treating bites, like the one this guy wants to give me. If you get bit by a wolf or a bear, you can bleed, but you can also get infected. So that's why you make old man's beard like in wound dressing or something. I forget what it's actually called. Birch bark, that's good. That's another tea ingredient, and also the tea gives you a health regen buff. Or you can use found antiseptic, you know, like a standard sort of bottle of peroxide, basically. But those are heavier, so I don't usually use those. I prefer to keep one wound dressing already made so that I can apply it quickly. And I prefer to keep the rest of them unmade. Enough materials to make another one or two, because it's actually lighter before it's crafted into the finished product. Alright. The frostbite risk isn't actually as bad as I thought it would be. I know I'm running past a lot of stuff. I do want to get rid of this hypothermia risk because it's also potentially devastating early on. Chain that torch. Keep going. I don't know if this is going to take me to Angler's Den. It feels like it's the right direction, but it's quite far. This feels like a lot of distance for something that brings me out where I want to be. I don't think it's going to. You'll also notice I'm losing health because of cold, right? So it's not just the hypothermia and the frostbite, although that stuff's not great. It's also that the cold is just slowly damaging me. Now that's not a very big deal, because once I find somewhere warm, Angler's Den is usually pretty warm, protected from the elements, better than the Mountaineer's hut anyway. Once I find someplace warm, getting my temperature back up isn't going to be a problem. Especially since I have this fire right now, I have some matches, and I have some sticks. Now one problem with that moose is it took me... Oh, good, another... Oh, I'm here! Okay. Alright. Well, I learned something today. That wolf's a little too close. So here's how you deal with wolves, okay? You have a torch out. Oh! I got too close to him? No, he's good. You have a torch out, you switch to a weapon of any kind, from your rock, and then you aim at them. And they'll just run right off. They're afraid of fire, they're afraid of rocks, they're afraid of fire and rocks. So, I'm here? Do I know where this is? Am I where I think I am? This is not where I thought it was. Alright, it's pretty lost, but that's okay. That's part of the game. I would prefer fewer wolves, though. Alright, this one's going to be in my way, I think, but this one's following me, so only one wolf aggroes you at a time, so that's that one. Right? He's aggroing me, I'm just doing what's called walking the dog right now. I'm not going to deal with him. Even if I didn't have a torch, he probably wouldn't get close enough to be an issue. But I have this torch, but because he's aggroed to me, right, I could scare him off, but because he's aggroed to me, that actually kind of protects me from other wolves. Okay, chain another torch. Still have plenty. Got a little gutsy with that one. Okay, so from here I should be able to get to Angler's Den. It's just a matter of finding it. Good. should be right over here. There it is. So what I did there was I know this waterfall right there because that's where I'm going to be going. Plugging some of these along the way. And so I know that Angler's Den is my stop along that path. So that moose really messed me up, but that's okay. I'm here now and I haven't been trampled by a moose. A moose encounter can really ruin your day. I'm gonna need to check this this recording and see if the wolves are way too loud. I might need to turn those wolves down for your sake. Let me know in the comments if the wolves are too loud. Let's see. Okay. So here's some guaranteed matches right there. But I'll pick those up next time. Actually, I'll loot this whole place up next time. Alright, thank you for joining me. We are now at Angler's Den. In the next episode, I will loot this place, and then I will start heading over to get the technical backpack. I might rest here first, just spend a day collecting cattails. I'm pretty tired. I could use some health regen, but we'll see. So I'll see you next time, and we will continue to strive to survive. Have a good one.